Test, test, test. Okay. Should be good on YouTube. What's up, Abraham? How are you? French Fishy. Just gonna keep an eye on the 4-hour inside bar on NQ and the 60-minute hammer. So, oops, I need to adjust these charts. Really hate having to do this twice, but it is what it is. Anyway, here's the inside bar. Let me get rid of these drawings. Inside bar on the 4-hour on NQ. We're going to open inside, so could be very boring. We do have a 60-minute hammer. So the market looks bearish, but we'll see if this breaks bull and gets things going to the upside. Not really interested in shorting at this point. Maybe if we get another hourly inside bar, let's say we're going to open inside hour, we don't really move a whole lot. Things are stuck sideways. I'm not going to be on this stream long. I'm going to set some alerts and then I'll check back for the flip at 7 p.m. Eastern. But that's about all I'm watching right now. Do have an inside bar on the 30-minute, so I should probably mark that out too, in case I want to get into something here. Maybe try a short on the 30-minute if it breaks bear. We'll see. Got about 5 minutes here. Anybody have any questions? How'd you guys do today? Anyone trade? Crush it? French fish did good. That's good. I'm hoping Top Step just gave out a bunch of resets, but I wasn't able to reset the account I wanted, so I opened a help ticket to see if I could figure out why. I don't know if it's only for 50K accounts, but I have a 100K account that I think is still active. So if I can reset that, I'm going to reset that one because those are 150 bucks a piece instead of 50 bucks on a 50K. Yeah, I check status updates French. It's weird though. It's in my account. It just won't. I can't click the reset button. So if there was some kind of delay, I imagine I would still be able to reset, but maybe the account wouldn't reset. It's just weird that it's the option is grayed out. So we'll see. Yeah, I got the email too. And they said they are, handing out free resets for some of the issues that we're having. Well, I like Top Step. They take care of stuff, right? If things are screwed up on their end, they remove negative trades. There's some issues. This is probably the second or third reset that I've gotten, just because they were having a problem with something or other. See, this needs to be 100 tick. We are ready to rock and roll. I can't wait for those new. I don't care about 50% consistency. I'm not for consistency rules, but 50% has zero impact on me, and I'd rather get payouts every 2 or 3 days. That means I could potentially get two payouts per week as opposed to one at most, and that's assuming you have a perfect week. If you're green Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, red day Friday, now you got to wait Saturday, Sunday, Monday, try again Monday, Sunday night, Monday. Rather just put up consistent $500,000 days or, occasionally 1,700, $2,000 day, whatever it is. It doesn't impact me. Been pretty consistent with the accounts that I've been trading, so he said that wasn't coming until like maybe by July, but who knows on timeline. Minute and a half till the open. Not gonna full port it today. French, that's probably a good idea. Trade like a normal trader, right? Don't go all degenerate. 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta get something to drink in my vape. Here's the open. Inside 15, 30, 64 hour, 12 hour, and day and week. So a lot of inside bars, a lot of just me gonna wait. Likely to be stuck 4 hour inside bar for a while, so might not even be any trades until the flip at 10 p.m. Eastern. But we will see. Oh, I gotta get my account set up, huh? I don't want to be copy trading all of them. I was during New York. I had a good day. I put about 850 in Top Step, three Top Step XFAs, and then a 300 in my Blue Sky, Blue Live account. Right now we're set. Yeah, I vape thick, of course. Why wouldn't I vape? The coolest kids vape. I also started hitting the Zin to try and cut back on the vaping because, I walk 30 feet and I'm kind of out of breath. See if this 30-minute inside bar breaks bullish to potentially trigger the 60-minute hammer up. 322 reversal. Trying to. Not much happening yet. A very small 25 point opening range here. First 5 minute flip in about a minute 20. So ideally what we get is this 30-minute inside bar breaks bull, right? Here's the 30. And on a 60, so the 30-minute that's marked would be an early entry for this 60-minute hammer up. That's if buyers show up. But big if, because the market overall does look bearish, at least the Mag 7 names. And but that would be my kind of ideal bullish play. The reason I'm not too interested in bear setups is because we're going to be stuck inside hour. In order to go two down on the hour, we need to move 92 points. So, this is going to be inside hour for at least, until we get something moving. Personally, I don't think there's going to be anything to trade until the first hourly flip, most likely. I think we're going to stay inside hour, inside 4 hour, and then the next best setup is either going to be on the 60 or the new 4 hour at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I managed to control myself yesterday and not take any trades until maybe I took one at like, did I even take a trade? I took what I was trading later in the day. Definitely, I didn't trade anything. I don't think during the open. It was the first time in a while. See. Still have some room until we break the 30-minute inside down. 15 is close to triggering. We get a 15-minute rev strat. So inside bar, two up. See if we take this low out right here, close to it, and then target this low and this low down here, 792. But still a lot of room here to break the 30-minute. We're still going to be stuck inside 60 and 4 hour, and those are my, almost never trade those. If both are inside the 60 and the 4 hour, it's just a choppy mess, and I'm not trying to take bad trades, right? I'll just wait until there's a much better opportunity. Today was so easy. I knew to come back and check 11 a.m. Eastern on the flip. There was a big hourly. Where is it here? Pull up the 60. Was it the 60? Right here. Outside bar, outside bar. So back to back outside bars right here, right? Broadening formation. Little broadening formation in here. Megaphone pattern on smaller time frame. So when this candle opened here, I knew we were going to be stuck inside. So I took a nap and I said I'll wake up at 11 and check back on this when the flip happens. I got up, woke up a little bit late because there was a good setup on a 30-minute. But as soon as we broke this low here, I just shorted, and we got pretty significant follow through on this candle. So I got 140 points. I was only trading 2 micros, made my 850 bucks, and I was done for the day. So like, we know when things are setting up. We just have to be patient and wait for those opportunities, right? Super simple inside bar 312 down, boom. It was good for 226 points. If you can't scrape 50 points out of that, or 100 points, 20 points, you're doing something wrong. Here's the 15-minute trigger into the downside. Might have been worth taking a shot, but I mean, again, inside 30, inside 60, inside 4 hour. So, could it work? Yeah, could potentially get going here, but just higher risk with the inside bars. Yeah, French set is really slow. It's definitely a not a quick, we've not the volatility that we've been spoiled with. We do have 45 points of range here in this opening 15-minute candle, but again, inside 4 hour is just a pain in the ass to trade. Inside 60 on top of it and inside 30. If I wasn't streaming, I would just go do something else and come back, you know, for the flip in 50 minutes. These inside bars, you'll get these setups the trigger. Like if I mark the 15 here, I hate messing with this stuff because you can see the 15-minute on the tick chart here. Triggers, no follow through, immediately reverses. May this could this continue to the downside? Yes. I mean anything is possible. But you get this choppy price action that just takes you out of positions or makes things super frustrating and I get angry and angry Tom trading is nobody wants that, especially me. That's when the market grinds you down until you lose your mind and then you start doing stupid stuff. Or you're like, screw this, I'm closing a position, and then it runs, and then you're mad that you couldn't just walk away and leave it. If the 30 inside bar breaks down, then I'll say, okay, we're getting somewhere here, but still going to be inside 60 and 4 hour for a while. 3 points with minis on ES. Yeah, I don't even know what the ES kind of math is. Obsessed funded trader freak, thank you. Michael Gosh, dude. I don't know what we're goshing. There we go. That's what I'm eyeing. 792 and 740. Yeah, I got some work to do to get down there. The hell is what is it? Giner? Geiner? Pepsi? I mean, Pepsi's a lot of things. That's got to be Dr. Pepper. Who's Jay Chill? Got to be somebody I know in the top secret Discord. ES is 50 a point on a mini. Okay, good to know. I've always wanted to experiment with ES, but I've been so focused on NQ for like 8 9 months. It's almost what I trade exclusively, and I'm a fan of how quickly it moves. I don't have a ton of patience, so but I was going to trade ES when the volatility lately was through the roof because at least ES wasn't quite as crazy, but it was still a little nutty. I'm just not gonna let myself get all worked up tonight. If things just aren't moving, they aren't moving. I'm just gonna move on. Like I said, I personally think the best setup is gonna be 8 p.m. Eastern when the inside hour closes, and then really when the 4 hour inside closes. If I had to bet, I would say we stay stuck inside 4 hour for the next 3 hours and 47 minutes. Options Degen isn't high vol. Yes is nice because it's a bit slower. Yeah, that's the only time I was gonna maybe experiment a little bit, but I didn't even know how much per tick or point or position sizing. I could have just traded one MES and gotten a feel for it, but French was looking at NQ for the trade. Just saw NQ break lows first, and ES wasn't there yet, so sure did ES targeting the lows. Yeah, it's what we traded earlier today on that setup I just showed you guys on the 60. The this outside inside down. Um, we had a simultaneous break, so the Dow R2, a YM, R2Y, ES, and NQ hourly inside bars down. NQ was first, was ahead of the rest, but then the rest ultimately broke the inside bar, and so that's I just ton of confidence when the whole market is doing the same thing. It's what straters call simultaneous breaks if you're new to the strat or not familiar with it. We look for those in sectors. So, if tech is all doing the same thing or oil names, for example, energy, all moving in the same direction and doing the same thing at the same time, they're pretty high probability setups. We do have a short week, no trading on Friday. So keep that in mind. And I don't even think I'll be trading on Thursday. I'm going on a trip, I believe, with my brother, kind of like all day Thursday. So hopefully can put some money in my account Wednesday night and then take off Thursday, Friday. I don't know what I'm going to do for 4 days. I mean, I know what I'm going to do for one of those. I know what I'm doing Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday is going to be a long time. Sometimes the weekend feels too long. French up 344. Just watch. Too slow for me. Yeah. Yeah, I know, OD. 3 days. Ay, ay, ay. Waiting for this money to get deposited in my crypto account. Then I can kind of, see if there's anything decent on the weekends. At least it's a little bit of a distraction. What I really need to do is find some hobbies, I guess, but I'm not even at my house. Like, I'm not in my home environment. Things are just a little. Like, at home, I would go to the beach, take my dog to the beach, the dog park or whatever, the dog beach. That at least chews up, an hour or two here and there. We definitely got spoiled here with the volatility we've had over the last, couple weeks. Certainly last week. Back to the old kind of slow grind Globex, Slowbex. Pipes.com, 500K. Make an arbitrage sports betting bot. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I know I'm out of the coding business, man. I'll be a project manager for something. I'm trying to make some money so I can have somebody finish some of the work that I started on a strat scanner slash algo, but I just don't want to do it anymore. Burnout. I did it for like 3 years straight. 500 is actually kind of cheap. I need to get them. Ideally, I should get both of those bongs.com and pipes.com appraised, but taking offers or starting at 500K. Pipes I could probably get more for. It's just, it could be a glass company, it could be related to smoking, it could be a plumbing company. There's just a bigger target audience. So, ChatGPT estimated 500 to a mil. Well, we'll see. They're only worth what somebody's willing to pay for them. But, like the going rate for one word domains is quite high. How do you find buyers? Brokers. There's websites where you can sell them. auction them. You go to GoDaddy and you can list it for sale. They're brokers that deal with high end names. You reach out to them, they take a cut, just like a real estate agent. They list your house, they go try and find a buyer, they negotiate the deal, they get a percentage. They get a hefty percentage too. Some charge as much as 20% of the sale price, but it's usually like 10 to 20. Went to school with a guy who sold beer.com for 7 million. I believe it. That was, I'm sure, a pricey, purchase for someone. Nice chunk of change. I know chat.com, I think OpenAI just bought for ChatGPT. I believe they paid around 10 million for it. So yeah, beer.com's for sale again. Let's see. See, this is what I need to put up on my page. I was just talking to the guy who's trying to find me a buyer. We want to put together like a one page sales pitch on why somebody would want to spend X amount of dollars for, a name that they, like a brand or something they can, like I imagine a plumbing company, plasteringpipes.com, all over their trucks and vehicles and everything else. Just marketing. Still inside 30, 64 hour. We got continuation on the 15, so that trade, if you took the short on the Rev Strat down, is working, but you need the patience of a saint because you can see on the tick chart just a lot of kind of chopping around sideways. Oh, Solanke, given my coding experience, have you tried making an auto trader? You mean like to auto execute trades? Yeah, I have a demo code that I wrote for Alpaca, the brokerage, as a test kind of case. I just don't. I have zero desire to write another line of code. I mean, maybe if I had somebody who could knock out like a lot of the bullshit type work, like the grunt work, the grind, the figuring out other APIs. I mean, I've been working with Data Bento for futures data. Futures is weird because you have contract rollover that needs to be sorted out. You have a trading session that spans 2 physical days. So the open from 6 p.m., to 4 p.m. the next day, when you aggregate data on a daily basis, it's not just, today, tomorrow, the next day. It's a 23-hour period that spans 2 days. Like, bro, I spent hundreds of hours like working on that stuff. I have zero desire. I want a project that works, and I mean, I would like to kind of play around with some things. I just don't want to put in any of the time. I'd rather sit here, click buttons, or flip a domain, have a bunch of cash, and then be able to pay somebody, say, here's 10 grand, 20 grand. This is what I want built. Get back to me when it's done. That's where my head's at. Trading is the only thing I really want to focus on. Like, just no way I can make more money doing anything else. Little V shaper on the tick chart, right back to the 15-minute trigger. Outside fiver, failed two down on the 15. So a two down. Whoops, wrong chart. Two down on the 15, right? We broke the low, but we got a green candle. So potential reversal to keep an eye on. Flip in 6 minutes 20 seconds for the new 30 and 15. Hourly flip in 36 and change. And not a whole lot happening here. So let me check YouTube chat. Goodbye. I'll see you. Discord name later says J Chill 2. Uh, it might. I don't know. I'm a little tired. Short from 875. Don't know when that was, but be careful. Got a nice 20 points if you kind of scalped her. Telling you, man, this is what inside bars do. They will chop you up. Things just don't get follow through. They like to reverse, kick you in the teeth until you take a million paper cuts and then you hit the LL. You're like, why did I just trade that? That's what I always say to myself. Like, you idiot. That's why it's on my rules. Stay out of that nonsense. Um, I could learn to skateboard. Bro, I'm 46, man. I'll do some high, I just took a walk today. It was like 3 miles, and, you know, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up sore. I need to ease into some things. I'm not doing, I'll do some hiking, some boating, canoeing, kayaking, skateboarding. Nah, bro, I'll split my head open. My brain is the only thing I got going for me. You're a little bit younger than me, right, OD? You're in your 40s. I want to do fun stuff, but I mean, skateboarding ain't it. Like, I did that when I was younger. It was fun. I used to have one of those electric wheels. I would zoom around at like 30 miles an hour, you know, down the road and on the sidewalks and stuff. But skateboarding's like a lot of physical. You gotta push yourself to go. I just want to like lean forward and zoom around real fast. Oh, you're in your 50s? Damn, you're old. Skiing, I love. Skiing, snowboarding, yeah, I'm down with that. That's because I've been doing it since I was a kid. So I will say, last time I went snowboarding, though, I was like, I had enough of this snowboarding. I'm just gonna go back to skiing because, getting off the lift and then putting your latching your boot in. I know they have like those instant click in and click out kind of boots, so I might explore those at some point. But yeah, that stuff I like. I like doing stuff outside, but things that I'm good at, I'm too old to try and like get good at skateboarding. Solanke, you're 53. I didn't know that. I thought you were younger than me, my age ish. We're like the old heads in here. Did I get my pilot's license? You did it last year. It's fun, and now you can fly privates. That's awesome. Gotta start your. I'm a big fan. I always wanted to fly a helicopter. I just think helicopters are so badass. It's an option. Kiteboarding, I would consider that. I mean, especially where I'm at. I'm like 5 minutes from the beach down in Florida. Yeah, I do need to find some things to keep to kind of like chew up my time. I do like to go fishing. I like being on the water, boating, bass fishing. There's some great fishing down in Florida. I had a boat for a while, but I was not in a healthy place, and it mostly just sat there and costing me money to be stored somewhere. Your nephew is a Black Hawk pilot? That's crazy. I like that, Dre. You're gonna get licensed in something fun every year before you turn 35. I have a vision of like being hyper focused on trading for another, like maybe till the end of this year. And then I'm hoping by that point I will be consistent enough that I can kind of start to do whatever I want and not have to trade as much if I don't want to. Like have enough money to pay my bills for like the next year and just have no pressure. Like if I want to trade, trade, but be traveling and doing fun things. So, I have other options. NQ pushing back down a bit, back to back 5 minute outside bars. That's always fun. Trying to break the 30 inside bar down. We'll see if that happens, but still going to be inside 60. There's the flip. There's the break. Double inside 30s down. Oops. Right, here's the 30. Double inside 30 if these break and so we were targeting down here. So we'll see what they do with that. If this starts going green, we get potential for an outside bar, outside 30. I do like trading these. Usually these red to green moves, so it breaks but goes nowhere. Candle goes from red to green. Tiny risk, if you just this little wick here, you enter on the red to green flip at 8:49, stop at the low, and it either works or it doesn't. You either catch a 50-point trade, or you stop out for whatever this is, 10 points. Say 8:49, and what's the low here? 43. So like 7 points, 6, 7 points. Small risk, decent reward, but I'm not in a rush here. Get rid of this. We got new 30s. I gotta fix my lines here. I really hope we get custom indicators at some point on Top Step, because I already have a script that marks the opens and the highs and lows. But it's not a big deal. Options degen took a long, probably what I was just discussing, something along those lines at 6:30. So hope that works out for you. I do like it. Just trying to stay out of the inside 60 mess. I want to do scuba diving too. I did the initial PADI certification or whatever thing it was, and then I don't know what the hell happened. That was like so long ago. I probably need to get it all redone. But being down in the Florida area, something it's been on my list for a while. I think it would be great free diving because of cardio fitness in general, breath control, but not a strong swimmer. Yeah, I mean, that's why I want to cut back on vaping. I know when I go swimming in the ocean, it doesn't take me long to get like winded, and I'm like, I could barely hold my breath for like 20 seconds. Like I can drown out here. But I haven't smoked cigarettes in a number of years, so I feel like that's progress. And I got rid of most of all the other bad stuff that I was doing. So baby steps, right? French, if you can't swim, I don't think you'd be a good diver. Yeah, you definitely need to practice your swimming if you. Can I surf? I've never tried surfing, but like I said, I can snowboard. I used to skateboard, so I imagine it's similar in some ways. Like I can wakeboard. Um, I'm relatively like an athletic person. I mean, I played baseball and basketball, just a ton of sports and then any kind of outdoor activity for the most part. So there's a surf shop near me. I think they rent surfboards. Next time it gets, yeah, it might be something that, I mean, I would definitely do it. Just, there needs to be, I need to be in a needs to be some waves, a hurricane coming in, or like on a traveling in Hawaii or on the West Coast or something. I would take some like surf lessons. You seem like one of those crazy dudes that go in the tiny little caves where they can be. Oh my god, I don't know how those people do that. I get claustrophobic, man. I do not like to be all wrapped up, packed up, unable to move, crammed in a tight space. I can't breathe. It start anxiety kicks in. That is not for me. Yes, spelunking. Sounds like marriage. I guess it can be, right? Depends on depends on who your partner is. Not much going on, guys. 30-minute, not moving to the upside, pulling back a little bit, but is still above the previous 30 low. So not in force, candle's still green. So failed two down and not a ton of range here. Like I'll be my interest will start to perk up a little bit on the 60 flip in like 23 minutes. So I'll try and hang out until that happens. Might be a good setup there. After that, if nothing gets going off the hourly, I will probably dip out and just play with my dog for a little bit. So long, do you map out time of the screens by the kill zones? No. I usually sit here for like the first hour to 2 hours. Depends on if the market's moving. Usually I live stream the first hour. Hopefully, I'm looking for volatility, or usually we get a decent idea about how things are going to unfold. It usually is like a banger out of the gate, and there's some news event or whatever, like yesterday with a big gap up, and there was some volatility initially, and then it just died off. So first hour or two, and then I check back pretty much on the 4 hour flips. Sometimes London open if I'm awake that late. And then I like New York pre-market. When I get up at like 7 or 8 a.m., I check on the charts. We get a new 12-hour candle at 6 a.m. So if I'm up early, I peek in on that. It's one of my favorite time frames to trade. But yeah, usually I keep an eye on the 4 hour flips. Is that's like my go-to. The first one after the market opens at 10 a.m. So stocks open 9:30. Then we get a 4 hour flip 30 minutes later. I like to see what's going on there. Bob got a TV sale from Solanke, saved him about 350. It's nice to have a community of people, a lot of eyeballs out there and a lot of different things. UK US overlap is best and UK Open. Yeah, I like I mean, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. can be interesting leading up to London Open and then New York pre-market at 4 a.m. There can be some volatility. I used to stay up for that or, set an alarm for 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. Like go to bed, sleep a couple hours, wake up and then, you know, take a quick nap and then get up for New York, but I don't know, it was becoming a bit much. But I've sat here for, from futures open until New York close and then slept for 2 hours and then, got up, started trading the open again. But it's again, that's like crazy Tom does that kind of shit. Slow bleed is sucking. Yes, it is. I mean, we're just not doing anything. You got to be really, really patient, and this is why people get chopped up or hate trading. You have to. There's got to be a good setup, and you got to be willing to hold it for a bit of, for sometimes an hour, 2 hours. But if you can get in a good position, like on a good 60-minute setup, sometimes you can nail the low of the session and just kind of just chill on it for a couple hours while the market slow grinds up. Like set your stop in profit and leave it. But it does take patience and some level of discipline to kind of control yourself. Usually not like New York where it set up triggers and 5 minutes later you're like, okay, I'm done. How many screens do I use? Where I'm at now, I have three. I have like a little portable laptop extension kind of monitor, LCD guy, and then two kind of regular size monitors. At home, I have up in Florida, I have four 27-inch monitors. How many do I need? I mean, I like one for trading view charts with my 8 time frames, one for Discord, and then one for execution, like Top Step, or wherever I'm actually trading. Could be Think or Swim or whatever. So three is fine. I could do two too. I mean, two is acceptable. One would be incredibly painful. I don't, I just that's too much flopping around, man. I need at least trading view on one and then execution on the other. I could get away with that. London best session. It can be okay. I like New York pre-market, man. There's some volatility. It's not crazy like New York open. Um, we get that 12-hour flip, and usually, I mean, if there's a good 12-hour setup, we get a new 12-hour and 4 hour candle. It can be a nice way to get in early on a move that runs into New York and then continues after open. Options degen spoiled. How many screens? Oh, here we go. 432-inch and an 18 travel and an 18 laptop. Yeah, that's. The only reason I like 32 inches because I need I got used to super high resolution monitors and I'm just really picky. I want super dense pixels. Like I don't want any kind of blurry text. I just want crisp screens. And so 27 inches is the best you can do without spending like an insane amount of money. That's a nice little setup you got there. Me either, Jay. I don't know how people trade on their phones. Like if I'm in a position, it's fine. I've usually got a stop set. Sometimes I have a take profit, and I'm just kind of managing the trade on an NQ position, right, where I'm just in one thing. That's fine. But like I don't know how people are looking at charts and kind of executing and look and jumping around between different time frames. It's just like I could do it if I had to, but I usually tell myself like if I'm gonna treat this like a professional business, I need to be sitting at a desk, right? Not clicking buttons like I'm playing block breaker or some game for money on my phone. I was away last week and tried two screens. Tough for me. I need three and prefer four. Yeah, three is a sweet spot. Four is after that it's just all kind of extra stuff. Like when I'm writing code, I have one monitor that's vertical. Um, so that's kind of nice. And then just the other two or three are laid out normal. Horizontal, vertical, horizontal. One that's horizontal. Yeah, options degen. I can be. I'm super. I'm not a. I'm a picky kind of guy. Seriously, like I mean, I was telling somebody cut up a grapefruit for me, and I was like, I actually didn't say anything, but I definitely thought it like this is not how you cut up a grapefruit. Like it needs to be cut a very specific way. So yeah, I'm a bit of a pain in the ass. I would say I'm just particular. I like things the way that I like them, borderline OCD ish, and that's that. It works for me, you know. Can I? Yeah, block breaker. Can I link my Top Step X with Trading View so you don't have to look at two screens? No, but you could use Tradeovate and link with. I don't like my executions on Trading View. You can do it with Tradeovate on Top Step, but like this Top Step this is the Trading View charting library, so I can do most of the stuff you know on their platform, and then I have my other I've paid pro or whatever version of Trading View paid version premium. Um, with my 8 chart layout. Just becomes too cluttery for me. But a lot of people like it. When I first started with futures, that's how I did it. But Top Step X works for me because it's got amazing risk tools that keep me out of trouble. Like being able to lock myself out of the account is huge. 49 ultra wide. That's not my. Maybe. Again, 49, the pixels per inch is going to be garbage. Like the screen resolution is just not good on those ultra wide monitors. I'd rather have four 27 inches, 27-inch monitors. You guys are encouraging me to explore a better, different setup. Okay, which is one or two screens, even though I have three. If you have three, it's pretty solid. Oh, Trey says no. Level up. Solanke, wait, you don't trade off the chart? What do you like off my no, like this is what I'm looking at when I'm trading. I'll send a screenshot here. This is my main monitor. This is where I like that's how my charts look. That's my main monitor. That's how I know what the hell's going on. And then I just execute on Top Step on the monitor that I'm screen sharing. Yeah, they're expensive. This was a buy. Tom really knows what Everybody's talking about resolution and shit. It's just been my. Always just been interested in this stuff since I was a kid, like technology, computer nonsense, just nerdy kind of, specs on things. I'm getting older. I got that weird thing where like sometimes I have to hold my phone far away, like I'm a grandma. You know how people do that? They're like, you hand them something up close and they have to like hold it far away from their face. That's what's happening. My eyes are turning to complete garbage in my 40s. So I have contacts which help me see distance, but it makes things up close a little bit blurry sometimes. So, and I figure like if I'm staring at the screen all day, I want, like that it would be like a carpenter who had like just shitty tools. Like a plastic hammer or something where it's just you're like, what is this, dude? Like you use this all day, every day. Why don't you spend a couple dollars? Oh, you take back your suggestion on getting a rally license? Yeah, I might be getting to the age where it's could be a bad idea. Especially when I just saw what happened in New York, that tragedy where the helicopter blade just shears off the top. I'm like, well, that sounds terrifying. Eek knows all 8 charts are connected if you change time frames on one screen. I They're all different time frames. It's one ticker. So I have the 5 minute, the 15, the 30, the 60, the 4 hour, the 12 hour, the day, and the week all on the same screen. So I know, if I look at the 15, I see what's setting up on the 15. What does that do on the 30? What does that do on the 60? What does that do on the 4 hour? Instead of having to like keep switching time frames or marking my charts up, it's all right there for me to see. 30-minute back and forth on NQ. Hourly flip in 9 minutes. But we are going nowhere quick. Yeah, a little something something would be nice, OD. We need this market to move a little bit. Either that or I'm just gonna peace out. I've gotten so much better. I mean, I surprised myself yesterday with the level of discipline and not shorting that, just wanting to jump in a short on that gap up, just because there wasn't anything there. Like, and to be honest, if I wasn't streaming, I may have just done that. I may have just jumped in a position a little willy nilly, but that's more gambler Tom style, where I'm just willing to take risks but I don't want to encourage like degenerate behavior. So there just wasn't anything there, and then there wasn't, I didn't take any trades until something finally showed up. I stopped out, small loss. Then I was up a couple $100 and stopped out, and then it was just like a slow grind up overnight on NQ. Like I got stopped out at what was like a really good entry, but I wasn't gonna hold, 30, 40 points of drawdown. And I didn't get back in it, and then there just wasn't an easy way back in. So kind of sucked, but it was fine. I had an entry at like 019, and I think it ran about 120 points, and I was sized up pretty aggressively, but just didn't get going was playing games for a while, and so sometimes that happens. Early flip, I hope so. I hope we get something. Looks like it wants to, we're gonna close at the bottom of the hour, bottom of the hourly candle. We got the 30 in force just not going anywhere. If the inside 60 breaks, we can trigger the 4 hour inside down. So if we close inside 60, right, and we break the 60 low and we hit target, this target here is the 4 hour trigger for this 4 hour inside and down, targeting this low over here around 734 ish, 737. So that could be interesting. I'm not against taking a shot at that. I need to remind myself in 2 minutes before the flip to update my candles here. I like to have my charts marked out before the flip so that if something triggers, I can get in as quickly as possible and get a decent entry, not be like dilly dallying around. Wrong question. I meant if you change market, all eight will display different time frames. I'm still not clear. It's one ticker, it's eight time frames. If I change the ticker, I'm going to get a different ticker and I'm going to see the 5, the 15, the 30, this. I'm going to see every time frame for that ticker. So nothing changes. It's going to display eight different time frames for one ticker. So if I change to ES, it's going to show all eight time frames for ES. If I change to RTY, I'm going to get all eight time frames for RTY. Yeah, I did. I did well. Not you know, getting ants in my pants. It was pretty surprising. Not gonna lie. Then even today, I just didn't. I missed the short. Uh, the early morning short. There was a 15-minute, I think, 30-minute pivot machine gun down. I missed. I saw the setup. I just wasn't, trying to wait a little bit after open. Um, Especially with the volatility we've had. It's been a little crazy. Here's some selling. Gonna screw up the 60-minute setup potentially. Like, why has it got to wait all the way until 4 minutes before the flip? Like, it couldn't have just held up where it was at and then given us a. So I missed the setup this morning and I just waited and I saw we got some outside bars and I was like, well, this is going to be stupid. So I went and took a nap and I'm like, I'll just check back later. It's not normally me. Normally I'm just sitting here staring like a crazy person. Like something's just gonna magically show up like real quick. Like I'm gonna get a rapid succession of 1 hour flips in like 15 minutes. It's like I need to just walk away, take a break. That's what I did and woke up, caught a nice trade. Juan, started with Top Step X couple weeks ago, trying with futures first time. Good luck. You picked a good place, I think. I love Top Step. Futures are fun. Come hang out with us in the funded chat channel. We're a group of oinkers pigging it up. Somebody's usually trading like, I mean, at all hours. So I try and share setups anytime I see something really good on the higher time frames. A lot of us sharing charts, just joking around, having fun. My suggestion to you would be start out small. Just trade like a micro or two. Don't you know, you don't. It doesn't have to be a race, and you don't need huge size to make money. So you get familiar with how like NQ or ES moves, and especially I don't know if you're a new trader or you've got some experience trading like stocks, options, crypto, or how well you know the strat. But Just don't be racing to get rich overnight. You can trade small size, you can keep risk minimal and still do really well. Focus on consistency first. The great thing about trading is it scales. So once you're consistent, you just add another contract or two or three or five. Looking at this chart here, I do kind of like this back test, this little back test of this 30. Might have been an interesting place to get in, but we're so close to the flip that, speaking of, let me whoops. That wasn't right. So might need to update this line a little bit, but at least I have an idea what's going on. Now there's no magnitude on the 60 if it breaks, but 4 hour is close to triggering, and there is 54 points of magnitude. So see what happens here. Solanke, do I seek or avoid high volatility days like CPI, FOMC? I mean, I won't I won't hold into the news event, but yeah, the volatility after is like sign me up, especially if there's a setup there. Holding through a news event like that is just straight up gambling. You either get really lucky or really not. Some people set real wide limit orders and you can get lucky, but I like the volatility. Volatility is, as long as it's not super crazy like it was on Wednesday where you get a single, the 12-hour candle like we were talking at earlier was 2,500 points. When you get 100 point 1 minute candle, it's a little difficult even with one micro. That's $200 of risk on 100 points. Just, it can be difficult. Like the volatility can be excessive. Oh, nice. Reset on Top Step's working. I'll check it out after I hop off here. Thank you. Futures could bring out the demon in you that trades the 1 minute. Yeah. I mean, I try and just ignore that person though. I mean, usually on my screen here, this is right now I'm looking at the 60 minute, but usually I kind of I like the 2 minute and the tick chart. But the setups that I take are always usually almost always the 60, the 4 hour. So I'm taking setups on higher time frames, but I just like to get a zoomed in look to get the tightest stop or early entry as possible. But yeah, I mean, I know who is it? I don't know if it's Taco Dan or who posts the MOF alert every day. I think Dan. I think it's the other Dan. DSL. He will trade a 15 second. I believe. I don't know if he still does, but he was. You can get away with it because, during New York, if 15 seconds, you could get 20, 30 points. You just want to kind of micro or hyper scalp or whatever you want to call it. Maybe a little bigger position size on a smaller time frame and just kind of take the money and run real quick, hit and run. So we got the flip, haven't broken the lows yet. Inside 60, inside 5, 15, 30, 60. Actually. If this breaks the low, I'm going to enter position. Maybe add on the 4 hour. If it doesn't, in the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'm just gonna leave it. I do like the reason I want to get in this. If we're going lower, the reason I want to get on the 60 is because we've got, again, the 60. Right, here's the 60 down here, over here, right? So inside bar, if we break this low, we can potentially get this 4 hour inside bar down, And if we look on like a daily chart, I know it's kind of cluttery here, but we got a rev strat. Inside bar, failed two up, right? Two up red. And if we take this low, we're going to be looking back down, somewhere down in here. So getting in on that 60 could just be a hold for the next few hours, hoping that we trigger the day down. And then, instead of a 50-point trade, you end up with like a 200-point trade. Get rid of some of these lines I don't need anymore because they don't really matter. Juan burned your first account. Trade options, but want to try something different. Trading now one contract, trying to pass the combine to the funded. Do I like NQ instead of ES or you trade? But I mostly trade NQ. I will trade gold occasionally and oil, but not lately. I'll also trade copper. That's about it. I don't really trade ES. I basically stick to NQ though. 95% of the time I'm trading NQ. But it is a little, it can be intimidating. It moves quick. I'd say there's like a learning curve to getting comfortable with how NQ trades. Yeah, and you can be, if you're trading an evaluation account and you don't mind blowing the account up, don't necessarily need to do one micro, but maybe do five instead of a mini. I mean, I don't know, whatever you're coming. When I first started, it was like, I was trading minis and didn't really care. And then, you spend 20 or 30 grand and you're like, huh, maybe I should have done that different. So don't do that if you don't have to. I like NQ because it moves quick, and I'm an impatient person. So yeah, you can trade a combine. You can trade small size and still pass before the rebuild period. Like at this point, I've run so many combine. I've probably done, I would guess, maybe like 400, 500 evaluation accounts that I have a specific strategy for the way that I trade them to pass in 2 days, 2 or 3 days. And usually, if I do like four of them, I'll get like two, three XFAs out of them. The last time I did four accounts at once, I got funded accounts for all four. I passed all four in 2 days. So and then after that, I started a combine. I blew it up. I reset it. I passed it. So but when I first started, it was just a lot of blowing accounts, not really knowing what I was doing. Little 5 minute inside bar breaking up, but inside 15, 30, 60. And that's about it. What are you looking for options, DJ? You looking for the shorts? Are you looking to grab something long? When you say here we go. Oh, in a red long you're trying to outlive. Wait, are you still in the long from earlier? From the 30 minute? You entered on like the red to greenish. I was just trying to get your $100 day. Oh my goodness, that's great. Come on, man. I can't do that, bro. So let's see. You let this just from the low here. How many points was that? I gotta measure on this. Come on. That was 37 point. I can't sit through that. I can't do that. Especially during overnight. During overnight, like I'll give it 15 points. But I know people, who I think Simothy in the Top Step Discord who he pulled 250,000 out of he maxed 550K accounts and he uses like a 50-point stop and scales in some way. I don't know exactly how, but if it works for you, it works for you. I can't tolerate that much red because if it doesn't work, especially with any kind of size, it's just too stressful. Yeah, a few micros isn't bad. Yeah, yesterday I don't know how you can I would not be okay being down 6K. But that was a evaluation account, right? Combine or eval. Like that is a completely different story. For me to be like my balance right now 2,700 and 3,200 roughly in these two XFAs. Like I'm not gonna sit through 500 or $1,000 worth of drawdown. It's a third of my account on one trade. Can't do it on a combine now. That's a different story. I'll take that sucker down. My Blue Sky account, I was down 3 grand, and then ended up hitting max profit 1,800 on the day. I mean, it was stupid to dig a hole that deep to let it get that bad, but it did work out. Okay, Apex eval with 10K profit. All right. You do like to run those Apex accounts hard, don't you? One, you can buy 4 Top Step X accounts and pass them at the same time. Yeah, you can trade them individually or you can copy trade them like I'm trading now. You see up here on the top, this right here, leader. If I click this drop down, I'm copy trade. I have a leader account and a follower, and you can copy trade up to 5 accounts. I don't necessarily recommend you copy trade all five. Like maybe do 2 at a time or 3 at a time. Depends on how skilled you are. If you're really good and you can pass them quickly, um, I usually don't copy trade my combines though. I don't know why. I'll just enter trades individually. Like if I get an entry on one that's not super great, I'll just quickly pick another from the drop down and enter with a better price and kind of just manage them individually. And then on funded accounts, usually I'm only copy trading 2 or 3, and it depends on how many funded accounts I have. I usually try and keep at least one backup account because I did blow 5 funded accounts one time with some cash in them, and then I had to start over passing combines, and then get and then pay the activation fee, and I didn't want to put myself in that situation again. When I'm, let's say 6 months down the road, I'm kind of humming along, super consistent. I'll copy trade all 5, no big deal. But I just don't trust myself to do that yet at this point. During New York today, I copy traded all 3. I like to copy trade 2 for overnight, and if I hit daily loss limit, then I have an account to trade for New York. That's kind of my thinking. That's how I approach it. And if I haven't hit DLL on my overnight accounts and I haven't really made any money, like I was $50 in the red on those 2 accounts, my overnight accounts. So I just copy traded all 3 and, caught a $300 trade across them. Because at that point, like if I hit DLL or something during New York, like then that's it. That's game over. I just gotta wait a few hours and markets reopen. But I would go through some sort of anxiety kind of panic attack if I hit daily loss like tonight. Like let's say I had DLL on all my funded accounts and I couldn't trade tomorrow. Mentally screws me up. It's not even that big of a deal, but I don't. It makes me feel trapped. Like I don't have any options, and it's you don't really. You just have to sit it out. But my addicted brain wants to not be put in that situation. Oh, Apex PA. You are. That's crazy, man. I was winging it. You don't say. But survived and got 2K. That's the problem, I think, though. It's when we wiggle out of those tight situations and end up in profit, like reinforces, like, yeah, no big deal. I can recover. Then the times you can't recover is just devastating for me. Yeah, copy trading, exactly. It's great when it works, and when it doesn't, you're like, shit, maybe I shouldn't have copy traded all my accounts. Blowing them up all at once is sucky. The nice thing about copy trading is I don't swing for, like today, I was only up $300, which isn't like, I mean, if we look at you can look at my trade report here on my primary account, you'll see, where are we at here on the calendar? 1750, 700, 750, 321, red day 500, 662, 228, 1642, 606, 500. So, I average like $500, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less. But like today, in this account, I was only up 281 because I was red. Um, but I don't feel like I need to swing for the fences and try and smash $1,000, because if I can get 300 times three accounts is 900, that's a nice day. And $300 for me is not a big deal. Like today, I only traded two micros. I wish I had scaled in more aggressively, but it is what it is. So there is that aspect of, if you're copy trading five accounts and you can easily catch 10 or 20 points, it's 200, 400 on a mini times five accounts it adds up. So you can take smaller trades and still capitalize. Got a 15-minute flip 40 seconds ago. Inside 15, inside 30, inside 60, inside 4 hour. Not much going on. If the 15, I bet options degen is just hoping that 15er breaks to the upside. Probably put him back close to break even ish, guessing. Egnos, you can't go by these trade numbers, and I'll explain why. Like right here, where this says, right here, 199 trades. That was the. I thought there was. I don't know why I clicked on that. That was a day I dug myself out of a hole. So I probably traded a little bit more, but I usually am taking about 3 to 5 trades. But one trade, if I'm scaling into micros, let's say I scale into 12 micros, I add one, I add one, I add one, I add one, right? That's 12 trades to get into full size. Then I stop out. Then I make another attempt and I scale into 12 more and I stop out. That's 24 trades. Still the same trade though. Maybe I take another attempt, right? And I scale in again, get up to 12. Maybe I scale a little more and then I start taking some profit at certain profit targets. It just adds up to a bunch of executions. But for me, it's all the same trade. It's the same 60-minute setup, just multiple attempts and scaling in. So can't really go by what those numbers are. Uh, I trade the hourly candles. Is that correct? I also do scalp. I trade the most of my setups. The best setups that I like are on the 60, the 4 hour, the 12 hour, the day. And then if there's a setup that's close to triggering on like the 60 or the 4 hour, then I'm looking at the 5, the 15, and the 30 for setups to get in earlier. But I'm usually looking for like 40, 50, 60, 80, 100 points out of my trades. And, overnight, you're not going to get those kind of setups on a 5 minute candle, usually, or a 15-minute candle. That's relatively new, like just trying to focus on the 60 and 4 hour. I started doing, I want to say about 8 weeks ago, and I'm having a killer April so far. I have one red day. One red day in that account. Let's see. So I have that one red day here, and then in my other, my backup account, I had two red days, but still, this is, we're humming along here. And then the newest, my New York account that I just started, I have two green days. So I'm kind of crushing it this month. And again, it's mostly focusing on the higher time frame setups. Like I don't mess with just a usually I don't mess with just like a 15. There's got to be a 15 that triggers a 60 or a 15 that triggers a 30 that triggers a 60. I like to have the 60 and the 4 hour involved. Market will cause commissions or not? I mean, it's sim trading, so I mean, there's some type of fee that I'm paying. Let's see, trades. I mean, it's 74 cents for a micro, so I mean, it's an insignificant amount to me. I don't even pay attention to commissions or fees. Now, Top Step doesn't charge commissions on Top Step X. You can see this little commission column down here. Whoops, down here where it says commish. You can see it's zero, and then these are the fees. Now, when I get into a live account, there's going to be some kind of commission and some kind of fee, and it may be a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe it has some impact, but not really. Like if I'm paying $20 for 20 micros, I mean, I'm looking to get like $400 out of that trade minimum. So what do I care about 20 bucks? Just doesn't factor in. I don't even think about it. But like I said, I've never traded futures like in a personal brokerage account or live trading, so I don't know what that looks like. I just don't imagine it's going to change anything that I do. Yeah, 140 a month data fee too for live. I'm aware of that. Blue Sky, I think covers one feed for you, which is kind of nice. Supposedly, I don't know. That's I think what it said on their website. I read that somewhere. I hope Top Step does something like that for live traders. But again, I mean it's a business expense, right? 140 bucks a month. I mean, I'm currently averaging about 3,000 plus a week. Like it's whatever. I mean, I've spent significantly more money on way stupider stuff. 56 cents charge Ninja times 57. Didn't make any money today. Anyway, just curious. Options Degen agrees. Said fees or noise might be more meaningful if you're hyper scalping and doing a couple hundred trades a day. Yeah, I agree. But it makes no difference to my trading. I'm the same way, dude. It's it's just a non-factor. I hear people are like, "Oh my god, the slippage on Top Step X Sim is like horrible," and I'm like, "Huh? How would you even know? Are you guys actually looking at like where you had a market order and then where you got filled and what was it off by a half a point? Is somebody even paying attention to that? Definitely not me. The only time I keep an eye on the spread is when the market first opens. If it's 5 points, 10 points, huge gap up. Sometimes it's like 20 point. It could be massive. I just don't want to mark it into a position then, so I just wait for it to settle down a bit. But by 7 p.m. Eastern all the way through into New York close, I barely pay attention. Getting there, options, DGen. Trying to. Trying to rev strap back up, but we had to kind of move through this whole 30-minute candle. Where is it at here on the 30? So inside bar, two down. So even if this breaks, I mean, we're running out of time here. There's 6 minutes, and we already had to travel, all the way from down here, right, where this candle closed, all the way up through here. So even if this triggers, I wouldn't be expecting it to kind of get up here. We might get continuation on the new 30. Very possible. But like we always say, when things happen, when things occur matters and context matters. Like, if this was a failed two and we close somewhere up here and then we break this high, you get a better shot of this candle going somewhere. Like, you got to look at the average, the range of each of these candles and say, is it likely for this candle here to be double the size of like every other candle that's printed so far? Just something to keep in mind, keep an eye on. 30-minute flip in 5 and 60 and 35. 4-hour flip in 2 hours and 35. We got a hammer, inside hammer shaping up, but a lot of time left. Anything can happen. But it's definitely looking better for the Bulls, I'll say. Such a downer. What did I say? What was I talking about? I mean, I know I am, but what did I say specifically that, oh, with the candle triggering and getting any follow through? Probably. I just call it like I say it, man. I hope it just moons for you, right? I hope I'm completely wrong and it just blasts off and, over daily open and just keeps going. Yeah, raining on your bull parade. Sorry. It was looking ugly there for a minute. You should be excited now. You can clean your draws out later and celebrate. Sachin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. We trade the Strat. It's called the Strat by Rob Smith. I'll post here. I don't know if you're still here. The Strat by Rob Smith. There's a great playlist if you're curious. Let's see. Recast notes. Learn Strat. Anybody who's curious about the Strat or maybe looking at price action in a different way, or here's the, oh no, you did. Why isn't that letting me paste? Let me see. Paste. Can I paste? All right, I couldn't control V. There's a playlist by Sarah. That's how I got started with the Strat. Highly recommend you check it out if you're interested. There's another. Alex has a great Strat A to Z and an updated video, but Sarah covers the basics. And if you watch those videos, they're short, 10, 15 minutes a piece. You could probably do it in like an hour, 2 hours max. Probably change your whole perspective on things to look for. Even if you use just some simple concepts like time frame continuity, are we above the daily open or below? If we're above, it's probably bullish. If it's below, it's probably bearish. Right in the direction of, the most time frames, whether they're green or red, in the direction of most market participants. So if you've got swing traders, monthly participants are buying, and you got weekly participants buying and daily participants buying, meaning we're above the open on the month, the week, the day. Super bullish. Essentially, the trend is your friend, but a very objective way of looking at it. Statistics. What do you? I mean, statistics. I can just show you what I'm. This is what I've done this month so far in this account. Average winning trade, average losing trade, best trade, worst trade. Now, there's only, I mean, this is a small sample size. We only have a month of data here. Don't even have my trade win rate is not super high again because I keep tight stops and I'll just sometimes it takes me 2 attempts, 3 attempts to catch the trade. If you use a wider stop, you could probably increase that number significantly. But my risk return ratio is over 3, so I mean, I don't, but the stats are I'm making money with it fairly consistently at this point. But I've also been trading for 5 years, so I've been specifically focused on the strat for 3 years. So if you try and learn it and, a month in you're not rich, don't be surprised. It doesn't work that way. No strategy works that way. Most of trading is not strategy anyway. In the beginning, you do need some kind of strategy. But once you learn a strategy, that's why you have EMA traders, RSI traders, Elliott Wave traders, ICT traders, strat traders. There are a million different ways to trade. You have people using like the moving averages. There are successful traders trading multiple strategies. The thing that they all have in common is though they're disciplined. They probably follow a trade plan. They manage risk. They got it. Their mindset is right. That's the hardest part of trading. Strategy is just this little tiny thing that you need. Yeah, you need a strategy, but that's not where the magic happens, in my opinion. Again, I say this all the time. I'm just another dope out here trying to make money, sharing my experience. I don't claim to be the best trader. I'm not trying to sling huge size, not trying to impress anyone, just sharing, my journey and kind of distracting myself from clicking the buttons too often and kind of just hanging out. If you go, there's also if you go on Google and you search the Strat combo sheet, you'll see there's a combo sheet of candle setups that we like to trade. Um, that's only a small part of the strat, so don't look at the combo sheet and think, oh, I just need to take all of these kind of setups. But I will say it's after researching and trying a number of different strategies over 2 years. Once I found the strat, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This is, fairly easy. And you can mix and match, you don't have to, you can use VWAP with the strat. You can use anything that helps you make money, gives you more confluence. Options DGen uses gamma exposure levels on his charts. Some people are using ATR, but mostly using the strat and then mixing in whatever else works. So trading 4 years, SMC, learn everything concept. Now I cut everything. I trade with only trendline price action structure. If it's working for you, man, stick with it. If it makes more, if it works for you, don't change. If it's not working for you, then try something else. Take a peek at the strat. I support anyone who is able to get money out of the market, however they do it. If you can flip a coin, and that's how you are being consistently profitable and making money in the markets, keep doing it. If you're using a magic 8 ball, using smart money concepts, or whatever, if it's working, don't change it up until it stops working. 30-minute inside bar trying to break bull. So this would be the continuation I was referring to. So here's the 30, but not a lot of magnitude. But sometimes when the trigger and the magnitude are together, we can target up here. We'll have to see how this reacts. But I think options DN is probably back in the green. You got to be right at this point. Yeah, I agree, Nate. Our multiples matter. And those for me are usually pretty high. Like I'm risking on a starter position like 10 to 20 points, or really on my position. So I'm willing to risk like 10 to 20 points, sometimes more during New York, and depending on volatility. But like overnight, 10, 20 points, and I'm aiming for like 40 to 100. So it's usually at least 1 to 2, 2.5, 3, often more. But that's what works for me. What works for me might not work for you. Is really trading, and the reason that people who have been trading for a long time are successful are the same reason anyone who does anything for a long time is successful. They've seen the same setups over and over, or they've played the same instrument, for hundreds or thousands of hours. You start to get a feel for what works for you, the type of setups you like, all that kind of good stuff. But it's a lot of experimentation until you find what works. 30-minute, getting a little follow through to the upside here. I do like to see this options degen. It's if on the on my short this chart, I'll share a screenshot. It's my NQ 5 minute. I have VWAP and VWAP standard deviation bands and volume profile. So I keep an eye on point of control, or have been lately, to see if we're trading above or below. And there's like a little 5 minute hammer there holding point of control, and then we get a little push up. Obviously, point of control can move around, so it's not, it's just something I've noticed. Like, if price is kind of chopping sideways and point of control is right there, I'm definitely more bullish if we're holding above, and bearish if we're below. Yeah, you're the one that mentioned that session profile, because I was just using volume profile, whatever, like where you have to select the range, and I just had to constantly keep dragging the over to the newest candle, and you're like, oh, why don't you just use this? Like, what? Yeah, volume profile fixed range. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm out of here. 23 minutes till the flip. We'll have double inside 60s to keep an eye on. I'm just gonna set some alerts here on my charts right now. I'm gonna put one right under the daily open. I'm gonna add an alert, and I'm gonna set one at these inside bar lows, and we'll see what happens. If I don't get the alert, or I miss the trade, there's going to be a setup in 2 hours and 22 minutes when we close, most likely inside 4 hour. So you can see I just put two little alerts here, and if this closes inside, then I'll be looking to trade a break of that 4 hour inside bar. Really either direction, but kind of leaning, I don't know yet. I mean, daily setup looks bearish, 4 hours red, but 60s green. Who knows? Appreciate you guys stopping by. Had a blast, kind of chit chatting, entertaining. You guys make me laugh. So, thank you for being here. I will see you all later. Have a good one.